guys, it's your girl Sunny. Welcome back to episode 5 of Sunny's Geeky Grove. And today I thought we would do a deep dive into one of my beloved video game franchises, but I'm actually going to focus on one particular title in this series. And today we are going to focus on Fallout 3. So, a little bit of backstory with Fallout 3. When I first got my 360, I had that Lego and pure dirt bike racing video game that came with the console, but then I bought Left 4 Dead, and those were basically the only 3 games that I had. And then I went to a local game store, and I asked for recommendations, and they asked what I liked, and long story short, they recommended Fallout 3. And over the course of a month or so, I tried to play it, and it was not fun because, I didn't know what I was doing really, and I was enthralled with the opening and all of that, but I kept dying from a stupid mole rat, and I kept thinking about it though. After I would get frustrated and stop, and I gave up, and I kept thinking about it, even though I had played maybe, 30 minutes. I kept thinking about the intro and, being being born, and, basically the growing up in the vaults and learning more about the Pip-Boys in the vaults, and I had just escaped into this wasteland and, figuring out the story behind that and what's going on. I kept thinking about it, and I was like, I should give it another go. I should try it, I guess. And I did. I restarted because it had been a while, and plus I wanted to experience the beginning again. And I named my character and created what I would look like as an adult, and I, fell in love with the bonding of the vault dweller and the dad, James, and, just learning the backstory of these people there, and interacting with Jonas, and getting my first BB gun, and shooting the rad roaches and the little targets, and, having Amada as the best friend, and then when you get older, seeing, Butch Deloria, seeing him, picking on Amada, and then I think the second time I played, I chose to fight him. The first time I chose the speech action maybe, or just didn't say anything and walked away. I don't remember. But choosing to fight him and getting in a few punches and just experiencing that, and then taking the goat again, doing different answers, seeing what tag skills they'd give, and just all of that, and then ultimately going up and saying, hey, how do you think I did? Did I fail? And then choosing your own tag skills. But it was always interesting to see, I've played through this so many times, so I've taken the goat many a times. It was always interesting to see what tag skills you would get, what profession you would have in the vault, and it was just a lot of fun, and the world building of it was so great. And then I remember the second time I started, I saw the bobblehead on James's desk, and I was like, oh, what's this? And it's like, oh, cool, your special skill. And I was like, what? I don't even know what that is. What? I mean, obviously I do because of the your special book, but that's not the point. But I was like, oh, that's so cool. And then I had read somewhere, like, make sure you're looking all over the place and you're looting things and you're picking up everything that you can, weapons, ammo, armor, med stuff. You never know what you'll need. And that has since stuck with me, basically, through every game, even if it's not necessarily like an open world RPG or that type of game, like in BioShock. I will eat everything from all of the storage bins and the trash cans and the people, even if, I'm at full health, even if it is alcohol. Like, I pick up everything, I eat everything, and I carry everything that I can, and when something's full, shoot a few bullets so you pick everything up. It's a thing that basically was instilled into me from Fallout 3. And that was just like this one little thing in like someone's comment on Fallout 3 on some forum or something. Maybe it was trueachievements.org. But yeah, basically that one little sentence or part of a sentence, make sure you pick up everything, just stuck with me. And now that's my play style. I pick up everything in every game, even if I don't need it. Because you never know if you will. And you can always scrap it or sell it or give it to somebody if it's a multiplayer game, which is basically how I act now in Fallout 76. So I loved then waking up and then choosing like the weird options when talking to Amada, like, oh, I just had a dream about you. And her like being, ew, gross. Oh, it's like, Amada, you know you want me. But and then every single time I've played it, and like I said, I've played through it a lot, but every single time, starting from my second playthrough, I saved, that's Ward, I saved Butch's mom and Butch, and I helped him out. Despite him being, a little shit, he's, eventually going to be something more, perhaps, was my thought process. Maybe I'd see him out in the wasteland. Or maybe I'd see him when I came back to the vault, if I come back. Which obviously I had no idea how that would work. Or if once I left, I'd be locked out. That was my assumption that, since I'm going to end up sneaking out through the overseer's room, I'm not going to be able to come back. So it was definitely something that I did on that second playthrough. I thought maybe he will be important later, so I want to do everything I can now to save him, to protect him, to make him on my side. So I helped him. I saved his mom. He gives me his badass Tunnel Snakes leather jacket. And I instantly put that on. And Tunnel Snakes rule, by the way. But, and then you run and you have the 10mm and Jonas is dead. And you learn that your dad's left and you don't know why. And I'm nosy. I want to know why. So then you leave in that cinematic of just the bright light and your eyes adjusting to it. And you've been underground with these fluorescent lights and all of that. And now you're seeing the sun for the first time ever. You're smelling that fresh air. You can almost feel it, even though you are, sitting in your living room, sitting in your basement, in your friend's house, your bedroom. You already ultimately know what that's like. You know what it's like to breathe fresh air, to feel the sun on your face. But somehow in that moment, I felt like I was experiencing it for the first time. And it was probably like midnight when I was playing it. But I could feel the warmth on my skin. I could smell a crisp summer day, where it's slightly warm, so the air is kind of heavy and humid. And and you could smell the dirt and all of that because, it's a wasteland. And it just, I don't know if it was just me allowing myself to immerse myself in the world, or if it was just, Bethesda being amazing, which, no comment. It was just remarkable. And I remember sitting there kind of in awe, even though it was on the 360 and obviously graphics have improved. I remember thinking, wow, this looks real. This looks beautiful. This looks like a picture, not a cartoon, not a video game. And obviously, I'm coming from Left 4 Dead and Lego Batman and The Sims, Diablo 2, Lord of Destruction, Doom. That's where I'm coming from. And then this is my first really, really big AAA title. My first really, really big publishing company. Valve is big, but it's not Bethesda big. And I was blown away. And I really did find myself feeling like I was in the world. This is me. This is me learning where my dad went. This is me trying to find James, wondering what's going on. How do I find him? Why did he leave me? Why did he not say anything? Why wasn't I worthy enough to know what was happening? Why didn't he talk to me? And I, getting a little angry, rightfully so. Any kid would be pissed that their dad just left them alone in a vault. And we find out that, he left for, some reason of big importance. But no one knows why, and especially me. Why don't I know why? I'm his blood. I'm his kid. Why don't I know? And so, getting a little pissed off, I, press forward, and I go into this house, and I meet this woman, and she's running, and I think I fail a speech check, and I say, something I don't even remember, but I'm I don't even know who Moriarty is. You're square. I don't know what's going on. But by this point, it's my first time in the game this far, really. I never got past this part. I have since looted everything. I have my BB gun. I have my 10mm pistol. I have my Tunnel Snakes jacket that I'm about to switch out for my Vault 101 armor. And I've killed the stupid mole rat that killed me so many times before. And I'm moving on. So I push on and I go through some of the houses, around the houses, looting the mailboxes and looking around and seeing if I can get in any, and I can. The doors are all plywooded up, and so I walk around and I see a sign that says Megaton that way. So I'm all right, whatever, let's go. And, Moira gets a lot of hate, but I love her. I think she and I are kindred spirits. We just click. She and I became best friends. And I loved working on the Wasteland Survival Guide with her. It was great to do her research. She couldn't handle it, not like me, a vault dweller, someone who's never been out in the wasteland before, someone who has no idea what they're up against, some naive little girl just wandering the waste, going to Super Duper Mart, fighting the raiders, no biggie. That's fine. I'll go. It's okay. I don't even know how to pick a lock at this point, but sure, I'll take care of it and get the food and the meds. We're great. Yeah. You stay here in this walled-in city next to an atom bomb. That's smart. Also, it's active, by the way. It could go off at any second. And I loved doing that research, and like I would purposely put it off until I was a little bit higher level, and because I knew that it was going to be hard, because I figured human mobs were going to be more difficult than the mole rats that kept killing me the last time that I had played. So I wanted to wait. So I did some stuff, and Mr. Burke approached me when I went in to Moriarty's saloon, and he's like, "Oh, you should detonate that atom bomb." And I'm like, "Oh, should I?" And I'm like, "That sounds like a bad idea." And at this point, I know that there's a karma system. When I did this failed speech check to the lady in the house, who, you know, I realize now she's running from Moriarty, who owns the saloon, it said that I lost karma, and I was like, oh my god, there's a karma system, no! And then I looked at the achievements, and I was like, oh, okay, and my cat's running around like terrors, awesome. And what was I talking about? The karma system. Oh, I was like, well, if I detonate that bomb, wouldn't that kill everybody here? Wouldn't that be a lot of lost karma? So I go and, you know, I'm fixing the pipes as much as I can, and realizing that I can't. So I have to wait until my repair skill is higher, and I'm doing all I can around the town, and then Lucas Sims, comes up to me, and, you know, he's like, welcome to Megaton, blah, 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 and I'm like, oh, cool. Oh, hey, by the way, here's a speech option to say that somebody wants me to detonate this bomb. And so I tell him, and I think, yeah, I'm doing so good. And then we go and we confront him, and then the sheriff dies right in front of me, and I'm like, oh my god, no, why I did this? And then Burke runs, and he escapes, and then poor little Sims boy, he ends up becoming the sheriff, and I'm like, oh my god, I orphaned this child. How did I don't even, and I felt so bad. I was so close to reloading my save, but I didn't. I stuck with my decision. I said, this is the world I'm creating. But, so then, you know, I go into the sheriff's house, and he had already offered me the house, I think, or maybe I bought it. I wouldn't have had caps. Not the point. So I go in, and I realize that there's another bobblehead, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's a thing. There's a thing. So I pick it up, and, you know, it's like speech or strength, or it's not strength. But basically I'm like, okay, so this is a thing. I wonder how many there are. And this starts my achievement hunting bloodlust, if you will. And it really did solidify me wanting to get all the achievements. And I started looking on trueachievements.org, because I had been on there before for Lego Batman for the cheat codes. And so I like went on there for like walkthroughs and stuff, and there was a recommendation to, when you are one level or very close to leveling up to, I think it's so right before you level up, you save. And so that way you have a clean save where whatever karma you were at, say you were at neutral karma, then you could go and do stuff to increase your karma to get good karma, and then ding and level up with good karma, reload, and then do very, very bad things to decrease your karma, ding, and then you have all 3 achievements, and do that for all of them for, I want to say it was 10, 20, and 30, maybe? I can't really remember. It's been a while. But I think the karma system was great. I really don't like how it's not in Fallout 4. I thought that it really added a dynamic to your character because, when you did evil things and you had, bad karma, Three Dog, he would say the terror of the wastes is at it again, and he wouldn't take the research that you did for the Wasteland Survival Guide seriously or at face value because you're evil. You're a bad person. You're probably misleading Moira to mislead other survivors. But when you're neutral or good, he has, neutral or great things to say about you. And that was another concept that I loved that was also brought into Fallout 4 was the radio DJ commenting on the things that you were doing in the wasteland, such as, clearing out that raider's den. And, Three Dog would say that our savior of the wasteland has done it again. It made it just a little bit safer. And basically praise you for doing good deeds in the wasteland, which I'm all about that. That's great. And they had it as a mechanic in Fallout 4 as well. Not the greatest, but they would do it sometimes with a few things, but it wasn't like super amazing. It was just fine. And so I loved Three Dog as a character, and you can interact with him and do stuff for him, doing those quests to put that, the relay dish up and enhancing GNR's reach and stability and getting his message and voice out further into the wasteland. And it was just so great. And I really do think that he was a well-rounded character. He was the DJ, but then he was also James's friend. And you learned a little bit more about your dad through this side character. Obviously, that's the whole point, but it really helped expand on Three Dog as a character, James as a character, and the Wasteland as a character. Because the Wasteland, obviously, is one of the biggest characters of Fallout 3. And I'm saying and a lot. But it was a lot of fun to have that in there. Another thing that was really great were the 5 behemoths, the super mutant behemoths. Killing them with a fat man. Oh my god. It was so much fun. I don't remember them in Fallout 4. They've almost certainly got to be there, right? But I can't remember. I think there's one at the lake and it's called Swan. But I think that's it. Or is that a Deathclaw? Either way, the super mutant behemoths were so cool to me. I wanted to know how they mutated into these massive things because the super mutants are based off of humans. They're exposed to the FEV virus and they're, mutated in the radiation and they were humans. So what are the behemoths? Did they just get like an extra dose of those chemicals? Or were they what were they? And it was just so great to see these huge things running around with fire hydrants and on pipes and the one that I can still remember clear as day is you go into an overturned shopping cart one that's on its side, and you duck into it. And then you just see the super mutant behemoth running over the hill towards you. And it's like, crap, I gotta run. I gotta pull out my fat man. Come on, let's go. Let's do it. It's by far one of the best memories I have, is just seeing that, experiencing that for the first time. And as far as Fallout 76, I know that they're in there. I've never seen one. So that was a letdown. Letdown indeed. But one of the things that I absolutely hate about Fallout 3, and I was so glad to see essentially eliminated for Fallout 4, were the underground tunnel systems. You cannot get from one point on the map to another overground. It's just impossible. You will always have to go into one of the underground tunnel systems. And that made me so angry. I would get lost for hours down there. Obviously, I'm exaggerating a bit. But it would be so frustrating. I'm even following the map marker in my HUD, and I'm still getting lost and opening up my world map and then my mini map and not understanding where I have to go. And I'm just lost. It was aggravating. So frustrating. One of the worst aspects of the game. And when I finally tried it on the PC and I could start clipping, boy, you better believe I never once went into the underground tunnels. I avoided those as much as possible. They were absolutely well designed and well laid out, and mazes. I hated them so much. But obviously, it was to force you into confined spaces and really just focus your attention into that area. I also won't lie that I loved the Brotherhood of Steel. I think that they were very compelling and their ideology was great, and I supported them, and I really did want to help them and to be part of the Brotherhood. And I think that having them, kind of the Brotherhood versus the Enclave was a fairly easy dynamic to establish and easy for you to kind of pick sides. It was very clear cut as far as here are your two options. You basically have to choose now. And I honestly have never, not even once, I think, sided with the Enclave. I feel like killing all of the super mutants that way, even it would kill anybody exposed to, a specific amount of radiation, which would include ghouls. And there were a ton of, positive ghouls that you had in the Wasteland. Gob was amazing. I mean, let's be honest. He was love. Gob is love. Gob is life. And he would be gone if you injected that. And it was not something that I was okay doing. Ever, I think. I'm pretty sure. Unless it was an achievement, which I highly doubt. But I never sided with them. And learning about all of the different factions in the different cities, like Rivet City and Dr. Lee and the Children of Adam. Just all of those different little quirks that would happen, I feel like, in real life. If we had, World War III, a completely devastated wasteland of a planet to come home to, I feel like we would after hundreds of years, have, these factions, raiders, different religions and new religions, focusing on the old world religions and focusing on having no religion. We would have that. Society has to have some semblance of order, whether that's organized religion or whether that's having a moral-based compass without integrating deities or anything like that. Having that, it's just human nature. People genuinely want to be together. They want to organize. They want to bond. They want to have common goals and grounds, even if it means fighting with somebody else. That's fine, as long as they have their people. And not every single person's like that, obviously, but, we do have that as a general human mentality. And I think that exploring that in the Wasteland was a lot of fun for me, because I think that it is something that we hypothesize in our own current climate, and how would we fit into that, and just seeing, that type of options that we have in this game back in 2007 or whenever it came out, 2008, is just a lot of fun to explore. How would I react? How could I react? Who could I side with? Who can I bond with? Just those different things are a lot of fun, and Fallout 3 gives you that. It gives you a limited set of options and a bunch of ways to respond to it. And honestly, Liberty Prime is totally bae. That is just one slow walking robot, but a lot of fun to, run up behind and then start walking slow in order to create a gap, and then run up to create another gap. And my first playthrough, I, see James die. Spoilers, if you haven't played it, sorry. But, you see James die, and you see Colonel Autumn there, and you're basically like, all right, brah, let's fight. So then you fight, and the chamber's completely irradiated, and you enter in the code for it to start the purification. And then you have that flashback to the very beginning, where you're a little baby and you're crawling out of your crib confinement thing, not your cage. And, you crawl over to that placard, that probably needle point, and James tells you your mom's favorite quote: "I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I give unto him that is athirst of the fountain of the water of life freely." Revelation 2:16. And that's the code. And you're like, oh my God, yes. And so you enter it in. And then at this point, depending on, if you have a companion, which I didn't know were things in the game. And I think my karma when I ran into Fox was too high, maybe. I think for him, he had to have neutral karma. But so I was alone. I didn't know companions were a thing, really, until like my third playthrough. It's a thing. Anyway, so you have the choice of either you going in, or if you had Fox as a companion, he could go in and do it, or sending in Sarah Lyons. And I think the first time I did it, I sent in Sarah, because I was like, fuck, I don't want to die. Why would I want to die? I don't understand why I would want to die. I'm gonna die if I go in there. She can die. Let Sarah die. So I was like, go for it, Sarah. And she dies. And I felt bad, and I lost karma. and I was like, well, crap. That's not really what I wanted, but at least I'm alive. There's DLC I'm going to be playing soon, so I need to get on that. I can't be dead and play the DLC. Yeah, well, I'll get into that in a bit. And so then it ends, and it has that amazing end scene. And I just remember getting chills through it, you know? Like, you see the still frames of all the different settlements and all the different people, the Enclave, the Brotherhood, Moira, it's just all of it. And then having that narration, and it's so powerful, and it's so moving, and you're like, yes, please, I need this in my life. It was so great. It was so great. So then, basically, Broken Steel starts playing, after that. And you and Sarah wake up in the same infirmary after something. And I'm like, oh, I didn't need to kill her? I could have done it myself and lived? Cool. So I stopped. And I did another playthrough. I made different choices, and I chose different tagged skills, and I did basically the same thing, but doing more side quests, like learning about Agatha and getting Agatha's classical radio station, and just exploring more of the world and doing all these side quests and finding them, and like learning about Bob the Tree and Harold and all of these different subtle little things that I didn't pick up on the first time that maybe I skipped through because I was too anxious to get on with the story, and just learning more. There was such a large world that I was too tunnel focused to really do anything else. I wanted to experience the main quest line. I didn't want to go through all these side quests. I just wanted to get to the end. I wanted to know the story. But now on the second playthrough, knowing that in Broken Steel, I can wake up. I can survive. I'm not going to die going into that chamber. I wanted to be the one to do it. I wanted to be the one to finish what my dad started. And so I started over, and then I was more focused on learning more about my world, learning about life outside the vault, learning about all of the people and how the world changed over those hundreds of years, and just really experiencing, the DC wasteland. And it really solidified the fact that I loved this game, and I loved every minute I played it, even if it was hard and the Deathclaws scared the living crap out of me and they were so hard to take down, but it was so worth it. It was so much fun, and I really did enjoy every second of it. Even when it was frustrating or challenging or I died and I had to reload, it was still so much fun. It also taught me the importance of saving every 5 to 10 minutes or after or before doing something very pivotal, especially turning in a quest. Oh boy. Or starting a quest, which usually happened about the same time. But yeah, saving often. And twice, because corrupted saves are a thing. I learned that the hard way with one of my saves on Fallout 4. I had a corrupted save. No, Fallout New Vegas. Because I had been doing it consistently. So I was doing that on Fallout 4. But having corrupted saves, boy. So, and then the DLCs. Broken Steel was good. Boy and Lookout was good. I liked the Chinese armor. But the best one was the pit, where you go to Pittsburgh and you're just this different environment and it's dark and dingy and grimy and the mobs or the enemies are just weirder somehow they feel gross, somehow it feels like you're all of a sudden in a horror movie, like Wrong Turn for some reason, and you're picking up these steel ingots and you're walking on the top of pipes and weird scaffolding, and there's like these little big crawling things, and it's why. And then there's a baby that I think you can eat or kill or something, and that was morbid, but it was still the best one somehow. So I really do think that the pit is the best one. If you've never played Fallout 3 and any of the DLC, get the base game and get the pit. If no other DLC, get the pit. It's worth it. And it is just so good. I also love how I've mainly only talked about one negative thing in here, and that is the subway systems, and we all know about the glitches. Bethesda glitches are infamous, so we don't really need to talk about those. There's certain parts where debris can become sticky, but thankfully there's fast travel if you are outside. If you're inside and you can't get out, you're gonna have to reload a save. That's another reason why multiple saves are important and saving often. But ultimately, it is one of my favorite games. One of the games that really pushed me into gaming as far as where I am now. It's something that really rekindled and instilled in me new ways to play, new motives, and ways to immerse myself in a game, into a story, into a character, if you will, and really just get me into that world. Fallout 3 helped me become this type of gamer that seeks out lore, seeks out all the items that they can pick up and house in their inventory, and just really, it made me into the gamer that I am today. Looking for those clues, looking for those NPCs that are going to give me side quests, looking for things that will trigger a side quest, such as finding those sheets of music. I didn't know why it was in that bathroom stall on that tank. And why was it there? Okay, so it's got to be important. What is this for? Ooh, who's Agatha? What's Agatha's song? And then figuring out that there's this whole new channel of radio station that you can be listening to, and she basically dedicates it to you for bringing music back into her life, and it's so wholesome and sweet, and it's a bright spot in the wasteland where we didn't have that before, and you're forever changing the landscape of the wasteland by bringing music and joy back to Agatha's life, back to who she is. It really brings her back, and you are able to do that. And I think that's so wonderful and so great. It's just, ultimately, I've said that so many times. God damn. Fallout 3 was really a game that opened my eyes to a different type of gaming experience other than side-scrolling, completing puzzle-type levels in Doom, and leveling up a character just to get the good items, and doing, bail runs, and killing Mephisto, and getting the soul stones, seeing what kind of legendaries you can forge, and just doing those over and over. It was It was exploring a world, exploring the people, getting to know the backstory and what happened to the world. Who were we fighting? Why do we have plasma and energy rifles and pistols and laser pistols? How did we have this technology? And just learning all of the differences from this world to our current world and where we are. Where are we going to go? Learning about that and having me question it and seeking that out, learning the history, learning the backstory. It really was phenomenal and eye-opening and life-changing. Oh boy. But it was the first really heavy RPG game that I had played, and I guess you could say The Sims is sort of an RPG type game. Sort of. And you can play the characters however you want. You can make them good and evil and, learn a certain skill, but it's not the same as Fallout. Fallout, you have limitations as to what you can do, but they're so different. The choices, the options are so different that you wouldn't necessarily think of those to do those. And it just is really a game that I feel like if you haven't played it, you are missing out. And, ignore the dated graphics, ignore the glitches, ignore the shitty tunnel systems, subway systems, but play it for those characters, those skills that you can tag, those skills that you can level up, and your special strengths and your special perks, and the different perks that you get when you level up, and you can change your gameplay as you're going, or you can go in knowing what type of build you want. You have that with a lot of games these days. But Fallout 3, it feels like it was so well done. I know that the loudest majority, I should say, of Fallout fans prefer New Vegas over Fallout 3 for the RPG options, the companion wheel, for the story, the different options that you have as far as siding within New Vegas. And I get that. New Vegas is a ton of fun. It is great. It is greatly improved over Fallout 3. But, man, I loved Fallout 3 so much. I cried when James died. I cried when I killed Sarah. And it just had an impact on me. It made me feel for these characters I had worked closely with. I had learned about not only their backstory, but their faction's backstory, and learning about just how they're surviving and thriving in the world, or how they're not thriving, and what are their goals, what are they trying to accomplish to either hinder or improve the wasteland. Just learning how they are interacting and impacting the DC wasteland and those in it. Learning all of that, it really made me connect and click with them in a way that I didn't think was possible in a video game. But after spending dozens, and let's be honest, 100 hours into this game, multiple times, you really do get a feel for the characters, for the story, for how you are helping or hurting them. And really, it is it's just the story. And it says a lot about the writers and how they thought about how a player would interact with the characters and the story and the quests and the world, that it can have that big of an impact on me. Whether you felt the same or not, it doesn't deter from how I interacted, felt, and interpreted the game. It is one of those games that I still, to this day, when somebody asks, what's your favorite game? I say Fallout 3. Because even though it has its faults and it's outdated, it's for the 360, it's older, it's not the best of the series, I get that, but to me, it rekindled that love of gaming and opened my eyes to different ways that you could game, different avenues, different options as far as, do I want to be good? Do I want to be evil? Do I want to be kind of balanced and be neutral? And how can this impact my gameplay throughout other games, even if there is no karma system? Such as, whenever you have an option in a video game, if it's save this person or save that person, I pause, I hesitate. I think, what can person A bring that person B can't, and vice versa. I think of the impacts and implications that it has on my gameplay going forward. And that's all because of Fallout 3. That's because of that karma system and the way that Three Dog talks about you on the radio, and then everybody listening to him will then hear and synthesize and react to. And I carry that with me throughout all the games, such as the Telltale Games, The Walking Dead series, with Lee and Clementine, and you are at that pharmacy, your pharmacy, the Lee pharmacy, and you have the option of saving the woman or saving the man. Well, the man has, that significant other, I think it's a wife maybe, and he's not necessarily great, but how will she feel? But the woman, she's a sharpshooter, so she's a great shot. Should I save her instead because she's going to help me get further? Who do you save? And weighing those pros and cons ultimately make it so that you're thinking about the future of your gameplay, the future of your story, even if it doesn't necessarily impact all the way to the end, it has an impact in that moment. And I learned that through Fallout 3, from playing the story and experiencing everything that game had to offer me, shaped how I play every game. Even in, let's say, Overwatch, and I'm playing and I'm a healer. Let's say I'm Moira and I've only got that small amount of healing bar. I have 2 allies in front of me that are at the same health, but one's a Soldier 76 who in maybe 5 seconds his secondary ability is going to come back where he can heal himself for a little bit. But then we have a diva over here whose mech suit is almost gone. I'm going to heal the diva first because I don't want her mech suit gone, because she's got, her shield capability, her missiles, she can fly up. He can heal himself later on, so let's heal diva first and then move on. And if I need to, I can come back to Soldier 76. And that's from playing Fallout. Just weighing all of my options, even in that split second, just knowing that I have to make that decision and weigh them right there, then and there. I learned that from playing Fallout. So it is a definite game-shaping experience for me that really solidified, once again, my love of gaming and how I play my games now. I really do think that if you haven't played it, give it a go. It is on PC. It's on the Xbox, it's backwards compatible. It's one of those games that, even if it's not, touted as the best in the franchise, it's still better than 76. You gotta admit that. I got you there, didn't I? Yeah, you can agree. But I know this is long. I love Fallout. Obviously, if you couldn't tell from how long this is and how much I've just gushed about it. I love Fallout 3. I enjoy the lore, the backstory. New Vegas and 4 were a ton of fun as well. And I might talk about them in future episodes. Not sure yet. We'll see how that plays out. If you liked this podcast episode, make sure to hit that thumbs up. Let me know in the comments if you played Fallout 3, if you listened all the way through, that stuff is awesome too. And what do you think? What are your thoughts? Was Fallout 3 your favorite? Have you played it before? Did you like New Vegas better? Did you side with the Brotherhood or the Enclave? Would you rather have been a child of Adam? I mean, I don't blame you there. Psychos. I love it. Another one, what are your thoughts on Moira? She's very polarizing as a character. Some people really love her. Me. Some people really hate her. It's always interesting to know your thoughts, your opinions. What do you think? And did you blow up Megaton? I've done it once, and I hated myself, so I reloaded my save. Also, I always kill Tenpenny. Just a thing. I always let the ghouls have Tenpenny Tower, because forget that old white dude. The ghouls can have it. Even though they kill a bunch of innocent people. I mean, not the greatest, but okay. I felt bad with that one, even though I think you gain karma by letting them overtake it, which always seemed shaky to me. You should have gained karma, and then as soon as they started killing people, lost the same amount of karma. It really should have been a no-gain situation, because yikes. But if you liked the video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. If you didn't like it or didn't learn anything new, you can thumb down. And if you want more content like this, more of my amazing rambling on about video games and nerdy stuff, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you want to be notified, ring the bell. I hear that it sometimes works. You've been awesome. I've been Sunny. This has been Sunny's Geeky Grove episode 5. And I will talk to you later.